Welcome to the Brazil Expat Journal, the BJ you can trust. We're back. It's Monday. Hello, everybody. The weather's chilly, but we're having fun here in São Paulo. How you doing, Peter?
Yeah, same as always.
Same as always means bad or good? It means
Yeah,
same as always.
exactly.
SOS, as a friend of mine used to say, same old shisa, because we can't say curse words, right? Anyway, guys, welcome to the show. We got a really good one for you today, or tonight, I should say. Welcome, Find Your Fruit. We got Imara on. Oh, I was watching a lot of Imara's videos this weekend, guys. She is all over the place. Follow her channel. It was so fun. She was over at Back with the Batman with her kids, and I was just listening to some of her kids' music. Man, I was jamming out over here. She's got some, she like the whole family. We've had her on, so you know her whole clan is just the Imada clan. They are a talented group of people, and they're a special group of people. So I love you, Imada, and I will listen to some more of that music. It was really nice. But guys, tonight on the show we're going to be talking Tropicalia. So we got Professor Antonio back on, and he's going to give us a breakdown of what the movement was and how it extends beyond music. Because a lot of times, even for myself, you know, I get to know Tropicalia through the music. I think most people get to know Tropicalia through the music, but it extends beyond that. It extends into theater, into cinema, into culture at large. It was a very important movement for Brazil at the time in the 60s, and it's got influences that have, you know, spread across the world. We've talked about a lot of American, European, or even African, everywhere. I mean, literally around the world, you can hear the influence of Tropicalia. But before we get to that, I want to talk to Pete a little bit because he actually went out this weekend for the Virada Cultural. It's that 24-hour music culture festival that we have here in São Paulo. So, Pete, what did you get to see?
Yeah, well, Saturday I really would have liked to have gone to see Hatos de Poro and Lapa, but the weather was really bad on Saturday. It was raining, it was cold, it was miserable. And not only that, but um, I'm too broke to afford public transportation. So, like, anything that I can't walk to isn't really that viable. And actually, anything I can walk to isn't that viable either because my shoes are falling apart and I can't afford new shoes either. So, Saturday was off the grid. But Sunday, CPM 22 and Haimundos, who very rarely play shows here anymore, um, they had a show in Villa Sonia, and public transportation is free on Sunday. So no worries
Yes.
about my show, about my shoes, I should say, sorry. And no worries about public transportation fees. No worries about the weather because it was sunny, it was
It was
25
beautiful there.
degrees. So yeah, it was like, fuck, the weather's nice. Two of my favorite bands are playing. It's free to go there. It's free to get in. You can bring your own booze. I mean, it was tailor made. So yeah, the Villa Sonia stage was great. Last year was a bit crazy because it was
Hmm.
Sepultura. So
Yeah.
Sepultura draws a huge crowd. This was, not as big, but it was respectable. You had families there, very multi ethnic group, people of all ages. You had like little ones up to old people. So great crowd. The bands were solid. I would have liked to have stayed longer, but another thing I can't afford is to eat out. And
Yes.
it reaches that point around dinner time where it's like, yeah, I got to go home and eat
You gotta
something.
go.
So I caught CPM 22 and Haimundos, and they were both terrific. CPM 22 was actually amazing. They had this whole multimedia thing set up. So
Hmm.
they had like their music videos playing on the screen in the background. The crowd was really into it. They played some great songs.
I love it when the crowd's into it. they're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
all. They're not always here in New
Yeah, there
York.
were a couple other bands that were going to play after Raimundos, but
Mhm.
like I said, I checked out of there because food was kind of more important.
I feel you. Yeah, so guys, I know Imara ended up going to like a dub thing. I think Ludmilla or somebody was playing Villa Lobos. So there were shows all over the place. I think Gloria Groove played. I think Bishop said he was gonna go to Gloria Groove. So a lot of stuff all across. I did my personal because we did like spring cleaning this weekend. That was what I was doing. Like for me, spring cleaning is all year long because I can't tell the seasons apart down here. But my personal virada cultural was watching this movie. Deus e o Diabo na Terra do Sol, which, like, literal translation is God and the Devil in the land of the sun, but the English translation is Black God, White Devil. Guys, my mind was blown away. We will talk about this movie at length, but I went into it blind, so I don't want to give too much away because things like that phrase in English, things escalated quickly. Like things escalate quickly in this movie. It is a fever dream of a movie. Like just from the first like shot, I was already like gripped by the movie, but then it just gets better and better and better. And we will talk about that because tonight we are talking Tropicalia. And actually, let's get our friend Antonio in because he's waiting in the background there. And no spoilers, Antonio. How amazing is this effing movie, man?
Oh yeah. Hi guys. Good evening, everyone.
Yes. How are you?
Uh I'm fine. I'm good, and I hope you all are. We're
Yes.
talking about something very nice today. Glauber Rocha, right?
Yes. Glauber Rocha. Yes. The
Glauber Rocha
director.
is an amazing filmmaker, and this movie is like a master class of how you can make something very sensitive and original, getting the
Yeah.
elements from your culture and blending with international influences. So it's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing, and just the cinematography, man, because it's set out in the outback, and you can see like it's
Yes,
very sparse, but it's just
yeah.
so
And if you
beautifully
are a
filmed.
Marvel, and if you are a
Yeah.
Marvel man, like if you are used to like cut and cut and cut and action and,
Oh
and
no,
explosion,
yeah,
yeah, you're gonna have problems. But I think you should go for that.
yeah, it's definitely a slow burn, but at the same time, it's not. It's one of those movies. I mean, we'll talk more about it later, but
Yep.
it's one of those movies that it could have gone on for 3 4 hours, and I would still be watching it because it's
The
just
photography
so.
is amazing.
Yeah, the photography, the acting, the music, the everything, guys. So I highly,
Yes.
I'm ashamed that I kind of waited this long to watch it. It's definitely in my top 10. I was telling people for the show, and not even just Brazilian movies, probably like top 10 movies I've seen. It's still, I mean, it doesn't beat Dona Flor. I still love my Dona Flor and her. That's
Oh
my
yeah,
favorite Brazilian movie of all time. I love that movie, but
I
it's up
agree.
there. But anyway, let's get right to it, guys. Tropicalia. What is this Tropicalia, Antonio? How would you describe it?
Tropicalia is a movement that emerges in the 60s, I think, mainly because of the music. I think everyone at the time wanted to be the Beatles or something like the Beatles. Even in Brazil, we had this other movement called Jovem Guarda, and they were like copying the
Hmm.
Beatles. But this bunch of other artists, they wanted something different. They wanted to be more original. They wanted to absorb the European influences, but they wanted to come with something original, something
Hmm.
that they could call like Brazilian, but the new Brazilian. And
Yes.
then we have Caetano Veloso, Gilberto Gil, Tom Zé, Mutantes. They were experimenting. I think Tropicalia is all about this experimenting.
I agree, and I was reading up a little bit about it too, because it mixed everything. It mixed the Brazilian folk traditions, Afro-Brazilian rhythms, bossa
Oh
nova,
yeah.
psychedelic rock, avant-garde art, pop culture, political provocation, and it turned like one of we always try to give our word of the day when we have Marcos on. And I think the word of the day here, Antonio, is one of my favorite words in Portuguese, mistureba. It's just a
Oh,
mixture of everything. Like in English, I guess you could call it a jambalaya. It's a
oh yeah.
jambalaya of everything. And it's so funny because when we talk about food in Brazil, you notice
Yes.
how like Brazilian food, it takes the stroganoff, for example. It's like it's the Russian version, but it's the Brazilian version together.
Yeah,
And
they destroyed it basically.
no, it's wonderful. I like both. I like
Oh
both.
man, you
Uh,
can't fucking serve stroganoff on rice, man. That's an
oh
affront.
no, it isn't. It's delicious. It's delicious. Although I will admit, some of those concoctions don't exactly work. But
And
I
and you
love.
can't make stroganoff without sour cream either. Like, oh my
Oh, no,
god.
but we make it with sour cream. I don't know where you're eating your stroganoff. But anyway, but the point is not to fix on the stroganoff, is to fix on this idea of how Brazilians just get, it's something about Brazilians. You just, the country knows how to just adapt and make something out of nothing and get a little piece of this, a little piece of that. In Tropicalia, Antonio, I think you'd agree, is just, for me, it's like the genesis of that, of like Brazilians just going like, let's just go wild. Let's just go crazy and just try this in with the music and the culture.
Yeah, like looks like what we had in the 1920s with the literature and the fine arts. When
Yes.
the Brazilian artists they wanted to get away from Europe influences, and they tried to get this Brazilian concept of everything.
Mhm.
And but I think in the 60s, Caetano and his guys they come again. They wanted again because they felt that Europe was too close once again. So
Mhm.
they wanted to come up with something new, something different,
Yeah,
and it was amazing.
there's this guy here, Osvaldo de Andrade. He's got this idea of cultural cannibalism, and he
Yes,
says
anthropophagic, right?
yeah,
Yes,
anthropophagic. He says Brazil should devour foreign influences and transform them into something uniquely Brazilian. So what I liked about this movement, and it's something that I liked about the movie too, because it gives us both sides of this one very crazy moment in Brazilian history. But it's because there was like these two sides that were warring with each other, which were these kind of, conservatives and these liberals. And I'm talking about culturally, and there was these guys that are like, no, Brazilian music needs to just stay very traditional, very, just the samba, just the bossa nova. And then there's this other side that was like, yeah, but the Beatles are out and we should play rock and roll, like maybe closer to the Jovem Guarda that you were talking about, where they're almost imitating that that style. And the Tropicalistas said we want neither, or we want both. Like we love the
yes.
Beatles, but we also love samba. So how do those two connect?
We want to devour everything, and let's see
Yes.
what will come up from that.
Yeah, and it becomes almost like a musical, like Andy Warhol. Like one of my favorite songs
Yes,
in Tropicalia is Bate Macumba. And it doesn't really make sense in English, but in Portuguese it makes perfect sense because it's a mixture of Batman and then Macumba. And if you listen to the song, it's kind of got like that 60s Batman, like the song, na 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 na, with the
yes.
guitars. But at the same time, it's got like the batuque, the Brazilian. You're like, what's going on? It's such a great song.
That's it. It's like many things are coming from outside, but when they get here, they got digested into something like different. And but yeah, but they come from outside. Many of the elements that we can see in Tropicalia, right? Because they were all big fans, like Caetano Veloso, Gilberto Gil. They were all big fans of rock and roll and Michael Jackson after later. Like they were all into all the time. They were all into the international culture. Like it was not never only about Brazil.
Yeah, you're hearing some of Bate Macumba in the background there.
Yes.
But look at this. The beginning, you got the batuque. But you
Can
can
you
hear the electric
imagine?
guitar coming.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine Bruce Wayne dancing?
And you got the electric guitars. I don't want to play too much so I don't get hit with a copyright. But yeah, when
Yeah.
you got that fuzzy guitar with the batuque, and man, it was really forward for its time. It's still forward today. I mean, it's
Yes.
stuff that is kind of ageless. Um, but getting back to that, I want to talk about that because, guys, this was happening around the time of the military dictatorship. So it wasn't a front to the system. And it was dangerous music because they would talk about cultural issues, political issues, like politics started going into music.
Oh.
Uh, and it was really, I remember my brother, Antonio, when I was young, he used to always tell me this story. He's like, the same way, like when Dylan went electric was like the moment in American, pop music. in Brazil, he always say about Caetano Veloso, where he was at this festival and he was dressed in like plastic or something, and he sang the song Tropicalia, which the wonderful song that he has,
Uh-huh.
and everybody kind of booed him. And he yelled at them. He like got up. He's like, "Vocês não entendem nada. Like you don't understand anything." And it's like this
Yes.
watershed moment in Brazilian pop culture, pop music, where Caetano was just like, "This is the future, guys. It's like Dylan going electric. Like get with it. Like we're moving past all the traditional stuff and just moving into this new frontier." So really, really amazing stuff going on. And tell a little bit about what happened to these guys, because Caetano and Gilberto Gil both were exiled, correct?
Yeah, they went to England, right?
Well,
And
they didn't go. Yeah, they were shipped to England.
yes, they were shipped totally. They had to run. And
Yeah.
Chico Buarque went to Roma
Hmm.
in Italy also because he had to run too because he was singing against the military dictatorship as
Yes.
Caetano and Gil.
Yeah.
And some of them stayed here to support the movement, but hiding and always under the threat of the military people. So it was very, very hard times for them, but they knew their places. They knew that they had to fight through music.
Yeah.
Their only chance was that. So they did it.
And that's like one of my favorite guys. By the way, the person we're talking about a lot right now, I'm gonna write it here because his name is kind of funny to pronounce,
Yeah.
but he's one of Brazil's premier artists. Is Caetano Veloso.
Yeah.
And he was one of the guys that was exiled, and the other guy that Antonio's mentioning a lot is Gilberto Gil. And these guys are like the two like major Brazilian artists that
Oh
most
yeah.
people run to. And actually, Antonio, that's one of my favorite Caetano Veloso albums. Is the one that he did while he was in exile. I love that album. I think it's
Oh
called
yeah.
Transa.
Transa is
Um,
amazing.
yeah, and he's got that wonderful song. I don't know if it's on that album. That one, Maria Bethania, please write me a letter. Yeah, I need to know things are getting better, 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 better,
Yeah.
Bethania. And Bethania is his sister in Brazil. For those
Yeah.
that
The
don't know,
name of the song is Maria Bethania.
is Maria Bethania, and of course, and I
Yeah.
love how Caetano, even in English, he's able to do the wordplay. Because he's got Maria Bethania, better, 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 Bethania. So
Yeah.
Caetano
He's
does
a
a lot of.
he is a
He's a poet.
he's a poet. He's like
He's a
yeah.
poet.
He's a poet like for real. He
Yes,
writes
no,
amazingly. Yeah.
he's one of those people like Joni Mitchell, Dylan, Caetano. You don't listen. You don't even need the music. Just like get a book with their lyrics. It's pure poetry, um, and it's amazing stuff. But yeah, that's a dark period, but it was also a very creative period for Brazilian
Very
music
creative.
that led into a whole lot of other stuff. Psychedelic. I know not Os Mutantes. Secos e Molhados are technically not Tropicalia, but like they're kind of like the children of. It just influenced so much
Oh yeah.
of what
Yeah.
music could do.
If we have to, can we talk about the three albums that I think
For
like
sure.
remarkable pieces
Yes.
at like in Tropicalia? I think as you said, the album called Tropicalia, Bunnies
Hmm.
at Circenses. I think you can also find in the US like Bread and Circuses.
Hmm.
This album is amazing. It's all about Caetano, Gilberto Gil, Gal Costa, Tom Zé, and Os Mutantes, right?
Hmm.
It's incredible how the arrangements, the experimental arrangements, I think that really defines the sound and the ideology of Tropicalismo. You know, this album is incredible. Uh, the second one, I would say
It
Tom
is.
Zé. Oh yeah,
Yes, I love it. Yeah, a lot of stuff like this. But go ahead.
yeah.
And what's the other one?
I would say the second one, Tom Zé. We have to say Tom Zé. Tom Zé, this guy that I think he started in the early '60s and in talent shows, and he
Yes.
became one of the biggest names of this movement, Tropicalia movement, right?
He's
Uh,
yeah.
he's he's very he's highly experimental, ironic. He's like full of like unusual sounds and fragmented structures, social satire, social criticism, a lot of political critics. He's amazing. I think he pushed Brazilian music
Hmm.
another level. Tom Zesso did the same name, the album with the same name, Tom Zé from 1968.
Mhm.
Tropicalia, the one that I said before, also from 1968, right? And I would say the third one, Os
Yeah.
Mutantes, from 1969. Os Mutantes, the same name, Os
Oh
Mutantes
yeah,
from
Os Mutantes you
1969.
can't live without.
Os Mutantes, I think they are
Although,
the
not
iconic
everybody's vibe.
band.
I think Pete said he's not a.
Yeah, I have seen them though. I have seen them, and they did give us Hita Lee, so props for
Oh
that.
yeah,
Let me
Rita
stop.
Lee was good.
Yeah, let me stop sharing a little bit because everybody was cutting out. But yeah, Os Mutantes is a band, a three-piece band, and later the lead singer Rita Lee became one of Brazil's group premier singers, rock and roll girls. Uh, Tom Zé has a really interesting history because he he was kind of like shut out a little bit, because the three big names, or Caetano, Gilberto Gil, Gal Costa, all those guys, they really got huge. They got like pop culture status huge. And Tom Zé was always like the really weird one, like
Yeah,
and you never got the same pop culture status. Guys, I don't like. I mean, I hate to compare because he's nothing like Frank Zappa, but imagine kind of like in that universe, he's out there a little bit. I
yeah.
got to know him, Antonio, because in the '90s, David Byrne, who's a big fan of Brazilian music, actually has a recording label called Luaca Pop, if I'm not mistaken, and he puts out a lot of compilations. That's how I got into a lot of Brazilian music, because of one of his compilation albums called, I think it's Tropical, Beleza Tropical. And
Hmm.
man, that thing would sell a lot in the US. Like it was actually, I think it sold like 1 million copies, which is a lot for a foreign music album. And then later he talked about how he discovered Tom Zé when he was, I think, in Rio, and just going through the vinyl section, and he brought him back. Like, I really thanked David Byrne so much, because Tom Zé's career was just kind of like done. Nobody talked about him for a long time, and then he came out with manufacturing consent, or
That's
manufacturing
true.
defect, and man, this album right here, com defeito de fabricação. This is the first album I heard of Tom Zé, and it's just weird music, guys. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
highly experimental.
It's a lot of weird rhythms.
Weird sound.
Yeah, and then he gets into
The melody
weird
is
stuff.
not like sweet. It's never like,
Yeah, it's like it's the rhythm, but then he gets into like these weird, like, I don't know,
yeah.
he
He
uses
works
like
with a lot
sometimes
of
power
he,
tools. Power tools.
yeah,
Go
and
ahead, sorry.
he works with a lot of dissonance, and it's
Hmm.
never sweet and fine. It's always like weird, and sometimes it really gets you because it's so weird.
Yeah, look at this. I like this song. This is one of my favorites from the album. Look at. Oh, there's the chainsaw. I told you he likes those power tools. He loves some
Yeah,
power tools.
it creates this ambient. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love this.
Yeah, it's a
Man.
samba. You can see it's a samba, but it's
Yeah,
a weird samba.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Tom Zé
If you
just
would
on his own
dance, if
planet.
you would dance this, your body would show like your movements would be samba, your samba, but like a weird samba. It's amazing. I love him.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, I love him. And like, this was like, for me, what was it? In 1998, I guess I was 17, 18. This was like revelatory. I was like, what is happening here?
Yes.
I love me some Tom Zé. And he's still alive. He's still around. I actually
Yeah,
almost had a chance to
89,
see him.
89 years old,
89.
still
Still
kicking.
playing. You know who's a
Yeah.
guy like that Pete and I saw, actually, is
Oh.
Hermeto, who died a couple
Oh,
years ago, but we
yeah.
got to see him in Villa Lobos. He's the jazz guy, Pete. Remember when we were in Villa Lobos? Kind of free
Yeah.
jazz, but he also can get a bit experimental at times. But yeah, we talking a lot about the music, because the music is like the main thing, guys, when you get into Tropicalia. So you can always just find what do you call them, compilation albums, and there's a few documentaries. Oh, I forgot to put this up, but let me look it up real quick because I actually saw them in the movies here. Documentaries in Tropicalia that can give you a little bit of information on it. There's one that's called just Tropicalia from
Yeah.
2012. But oh my God, what's the one that I saw at Cine Sesky, man? But here you go. This first one here, Antonio. Let me know if this is one that you've seen before, because this cover is kind of famous. I've seen. This is a really good one here.
Yeah, on YouTube you have
Tropicalia.
Tropicalia Stroke of Genius also.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there's a few of these documentaries that will help you, but also there's a couple books. One,
Oh yeah.
Verdade Tropical, Caetano Veloso. Speaking of Caetano Veloso, we said he's a poet, but
Yep.
he's also a published author, similar to Bob Dylan. You know, he's Bob Dylan's got Chronicles,
I think you have it in
and
the US, right? As Tropical Truth, a
yeah,
story of
I
music and revolution in Brazil.
yeah, I read it in English. I heard them talking about it on NPR. They were talking about this book. And I had this copy, yeah, with this cover. I didn't have the Portuguese cover. I might still have it here in the house somewhere. Um, but I ate that book up. Guys, if you're a reader, and I hope you are, this is a great book. It'll give you like, it's similar to, like I said, this one I will compare because I thought the Bob Dylan's book Chronicles was really great too because it just gave a real objective, well, quote unquote, as objective as possible, just a rundown of everything that was going on in a certain period of American music history. And that's what Caetano does here. He works as a historian. It's not just an autobiography, just like Dylan's book wasn't just an autobiography. It's really nice, guys. I highly recommend it. And like Antonio and I were saying, he's like an actual writer. You know, he just happens to
Oh
also
yeah.
be a great musician, but he's a wordsmith and a half. So you're gonna get a lot out of that. Um, and one here, Antonio, that I always mention in the podcast is the Negros no Brasil. I think Abdis
The
Nascimento.
Nascimento, yeah.
Yeah, and this is another one, guys, that I would 100% recommend. No, not Negros in Brazil, Africans. Africans, actually, you
African,
can get it
yeah.
in English. Yeah, I read it in English. Sorry, guys, it's late on a Monday. Africans in Brazil. That's the book. Yeah, I had this copy right here. And again, I think that might be around my house somewhere. But highly recommend this book. It's gonna give you a whole different perspective on Brazilian culture, art. Again, it works as a historian. He's working as a historian here. This is where I learned about what we're gonna talk about in a minute about the theater scene, the cinema scene. Although Caetano touches a lot about the cinema in his book, there's the theater troupe called Ten, you know, Teatro Experimental Negro, the Negro experimental theater that was going on in the 60s and 70s. And he gives it from a black perspective because, you know, a lot of times that's the history that Brazil doesn't show as much.
Yeah,
Um,
I have another one if you guys want to have like more like
oh, for
this
sure.
overview, this
Oh, yeah.
historical overview of the movement.
Let's do it.
You can try Tropicalia, a Brazilian Revolution in Sound by
Oh,
Carlos Calado.
I never heard of this one. Perfect.
Yeah, so you're gonna have like more this historical overview, and then you can check like the artistic origins, the political context, musical innovations, like yeah, the big view from like I think from outside the movement. So he was studying and creating this book, having the big view from outside. So I think it's a good to get it.
All right, cool.
Brazilian
I'll check.
culture and popular music. So, yes, Tropicalia, a Brazilian Revolution in Sound. Carlos Calado.
This one, Brazilian Revolution. Yeah, this one right here. That's on the screen. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, cool. No, I'll definitely check that out. I never heard
Yeah.
of this book. Nice, nice, nice. And a lot of these guys are still around today. In fact, there's a nice album, Tropicalia 25, with Gilberto Gil. Yeah, I had this album in the US. That's a nice album
Hmm.
that Gilberto Gil and Caetano did together. It's not as experimental as their old stuff, but it's just nice to see both of them
Yeah.
on
They're still
album
around. They're
together.
still around.
They're still around. Caetano just won a Grammy last year with his sister. Speaking of which, you know, speaking of her, for
Yeah.
their live album. You know, she's got a voice and a half. Now I want to extend now into like the a little bit of the movies. You know, so we
Yeah.
have this movement in Brazil called Cinema Novo, the Nouveau
Yeah.
Cinema. I always think it's like
Yeah.
French, right? Cinema Novo.
Yeah. Yeah. This Cinema Novo was very like came in
So
the 60s, influenced by Italian and French uh, filmmakers, right? Neo-realism and new wave. And they, I think, Cinema Novo wanted to again get away from Europe and put on screen an aesthetic. I think Glauber Rocha says this. He calls this aesthetic of hunger,
mm,
and he says that we have to the great movie, the great films in Brazil would not be just about Brazil, but would show people through cinematography what is Brazil. So the texture, the light, the colors, the pace, everything should be more like what we want and not just imitating Europe or Hollywood, you know?
and that's the beauty of it. You know, we're going to talk a
Yes.
little bit about this his movie Black God, White Devil in a second. But is the movement of the movie? It's just it's a Brazilian pace, but which is it's so crazy because that's Pete and I talk a lot about this on the show, guys, where Brazil is like this place where nothing is happening, and then all of a sudden everything is happening, and you're like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
how did that like that escalated quickly?" You're just out for a beer, and all of a sudden it's like a carnival parade passes by you, and all of a sudden you're in a carnival, and all of a sudden it's like, "Whoa, what happened?" It was just a Sunday stroll in the park. And this movie works like that. It's just slow pace, and they turn their heads slowly, and there's these close-ups, and then all of a sudden people are getting massacred, and you're like, "What?"
Yes.
So it's
Yeah,
incredible.
this is one part. This is one part of what he says. Used to say when he said that our films should express violence and the poverty experienced by colonized societies. You know, we shouldn't imitate Europe and Hollywood because it's
Yes.
artificial. It's not like true. You know.
Yeah, and that's what you get this feel in the movie. And I didn't have guys. I watched it like yesterday, Sunday nights. I didn't have all the time in the world to really deep dive into like all the background of it. But it looked like a lot of the extras were actually just people that actually lived in the outback. They didn't look like they were professional actors. I'm
Oh
not
no no
sure
no!
about that.
Yeah, plenty of them were not.
Okay, I imagine because they really just look like the people from the sertão, and the sertão is a word we use a lot on the channel. Sertão, guys, I mean, closest you can correlate it with is just the outback. Okay, it's just this
Yeah.
very dry land where almost nothing grows, and that's where the movie takes place. Okay, it's in the outback, and as we saw, we read a little bit, is he's just a regular old guy trying to make a living, but he's very poor, and he's got this what is this guy? What would you call him? A rancher or whatever that kind of screws
Yeah.
him over because two of his cows died, and that's where you're saying like the movie's very slow, very beautiful, and then all of a sudden he kills this guy, right? And then he's on the run, and that's when the movie you're like, okay, that went somewhere until he goes and he meets Sebastian, this preacher. And then I'm not going to tell you the rest of the movie, guys, but this preacher here, and I do want to talk to you about it though, Antonio, and everything that he represents. He's fire and brimstone, but he's one of those revolutionary guys where he's like, God is with the poor, and all these rich people are screwing you over. It's time that we pick up arms and fight with Jesus's help. And man, like again, I don't want to go into detail of the movie. Just watch it, guys. It's really
Yeah.
crazy everything that
Yeah.
happens.
He
But
he
who is this
he.
guy really? Is this is a historical figure, this Sebastian? Because I saw that they mentioned Lampion and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Can you
I
give us a
think
little
he. Yeah.
background of that?
Yeah, yeah, I think the influence of Lampion. He was a bandit, right, from the
Yes.
northeast, from the outbacks, and he was like killing and murdering people.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, Glauber turns this outback into a mythical battlefield where you can see like religion, violence, and poverty like colliding.
Yes.
And what is amazing is that he doesn't present the heroes or villains in a conventional way like
No.
we would expect.
Yeah.
He shows how desperate people are, like pushed when they're pushed toward fanaticism and rebellion. So
Exactly. That's what I loved about the movie is that you see all sides, and then everybody's
yes,
stuck in this hell. And really, like, I was reading a little bit about it in this. They had this thing here from the Museum of Modern Art in the U.S. And one thing that stood out is this idea of how, the movie's called, it's got God and the devil, but like Antonio said, there's no real God and devil. It's like they're in purgatory. Like somebody mentioned, it's like the
yes,
movie's set in this because everybody's just screwed. Like the guy that's out there trying to kill, because you see on the screen right now, we got these folks, they're called cangaceiros. And the
yeah,
cangaceiros were really these gangs, they were these raiders. And again, if you're coming from the US, imagine a kind of like what was that guy is it Billy the Kid, kind of those guys that were folk heroes because although they were robbers, but they were like Robin Hood type, where they were for the people, quote unquote. And the cangaceiros were these, they were like out there killing like high ranking officials and stealing food for the people, and they really felt they were doing God's work, with this. But it's complex, it's not
it's
as black and white
complex.
as
Yeah,
this, because they were like, some of them were actual bandits, they were actual
yeah, and they
really
were
bad
very.
guys.
They could be very cruel. Like yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I remember when I first got to Brazil, I think my father told me a story like this about how when somebody spit on the ground and Lampion was in, there's all these myths, and if he went into a bar and a guy spit on the floor and Lampion just shot him, because that's considered very rude here in Brazil when somebody spits on the ground. And Antonio, sidebar, I can't live without my sidebars. Let me ask you a question, just a cultural question, because I
Mm.
see people in São Paulo that do this. Like they actually spit on the ground as you're walking by. And I remember I dated this guy a long time ago. In fact, rest in peace. He died a couple weeks ago. But I remember he used to really get pissed at this, like back in 2009, 2010, because he would be like, oh, it's somebody that doesn't like to see a gay couple. They walk by and like spit on the ground. So he would spit back. I thought it was really weird because we don't really have this spitting culture in the US, maybe like in Texas or something.
I
But,
used to see China, man.
oh, really? But what is
China's
that?
a
no,
fun factory, man.
Is that for
no,
real? I
no, I
never
mean,
thought.
Yeah.
yeah, I was about to say like Pete said. I mean, I think we spit a lot as culture, like as like we want to clean our lungs, and we do that. But
Okay,
as
that's different.
speeding
Yeah.
as hate, as like a threat, like speeding as like I hate you, I don't want you here. Um, I don't think it's a Brazilian thing. I think it's more like from the Hollywood movies where this guy would come up. I maybe from the Western movies,
Yeah,
the
I know
like the
the
Wild
westerns
West
got those.
movies,
Yeah.
where the cowboy would come and then he would speed on the ground and like put his hand on his gun. So I don't think this is really Brazilian, but we really spit a lot on the streets, like Pete said about China, and I think China maybe more. They people also told me about Bolivia or Peru. I think Bolivia, but in Brazil, like even girls, men, women, we spit. Yeah, we do that.
Yeah, I think it's so nice. I never got into it. I know in the US we always try to get into spitting and uh yeah, anyway, sorry, little sidebar there with spitting. But back to this, guys. No, because I just remember that story. Like it was told to me
Yes.
more than once. That's why I remember it,
Yeah,
where
if
like,
you
yeah,
do it
Lampion
looking
went in a
someone
bar.
eyes, yeah, if you do it looking in someone eyes, you're definitely challenging the person. So,
It's like in India when they take off their shoes, it's game on. Yeah,
ooh,
I have, yeah, yeah. I was actually involved in an argument like that back in the day, and these two Indian guys were there, and the one guy's like, and he took his shoe off, and I was like, oh shit, then it got real. Anyway, um, back to this movie though, guys. So I think what attracted me to it is this, but also the part that I love the most, really, is the his woman, you know, his wife, who just kind of like, I like how it showed all sides, and she was just like, this girl right here. She's like, I'm not with it, you know, like I don't want to be following you around. You're probably gonna get killed. There she is right here, you
Mm.
know. He starts following this San Sebastian guy. Oh, that's where, you know. Let me circle back. My original question was, are these guys kind of based on real people? This San Sebastian, and then later, oh man, later we'll talk about the other guy that shows up later. Syrio, I forgot his name. The I forgot his name. But tell me about San Sebastian. What's up
Yeah,
with him?
In Brazil we had like
This
this
guy
many
right here.
figures. Yeah, we had many religious figures coming and getting people like
Hmm.
uh, uh, getting people together to follow them, religious or not.
Hmm.
For example, in Bahia, we had Antonio Conselheiro. He got
Hmm.
30, I think 30,000 people to start this new state inside Brazil, apart
Oh
from the
wow.
Brazilian state, and they were massacred by the army. The army tried 3 times, and the third time they killed almost everyone. Like 30,000 people were killed, and this religious figure that were leading them, he was torn apart and yeah, separated into pieces, and so he
Yeah.
could be an example. So in
Oh,
Brazil we
quartered.
have this yeah, we have this
Oh
Jesus
god.
Christ kind of figures. They come and they get people together and they lead them, and I think Glauber Rocha showed this. He wanted to show how
He did.
these leaders, these religious leaders, they come and they get people together, but it's not consistent. You have the
Yeah.
tension, you have people that are not believing in it, and it's yeah, it's not something
Eh, eh, guys,
resolved. It's something to get you
ex-
who about it.
It, it is exactly, and that's what I liked how it showed that. Like the movie is very, it's clinical, it's unbiased. It just shows like this is the reality. And look at this shot, guys. Like this, the cinematography here. Look, this next shot here. I
Yes, I mean,
love
yeah,
this,
yeah.
man. This
Acting is
is,
insane.
but this right here, man, is gorgeous. Like just this shot, and then when you, I mean, when you see it with the
Look,
build
amazing
up of,
light. Yes.
yeah, with everything that came before and the music. I don't know if well, there was music before this one's this scene is silent, but you know, he gets this guy here, the guy that was, you know, killed the rancher, and he's out on the run, and he gets him to follow him. And all of a sudden, you know, he's saying that his wife has been taken by the devil. This woman suffers a lot. He kills a baby or sacrifices a baby. It's wild. Yeah, like,
Yeah,
you
it's
know, I'm
wild.
giving
Yeah.
guys, this is the spoiler section, so please, because
Yes.
just like this scene here, I was like, what am I watching? You know,
Yeah,
and then he
that's the
takes,
violence Glauber said that we have to put on screen because
yeah,
it's what we are made of.
yep. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
but
hard.
then you think it's good, you know, it's actually really good, and then this guy shows up. He's the
Yeah,
guy
then
that's
you have
hunting.
this guy. Yeah, this guy represents like he's the other side of religion. He's like the violence, the naked violence.
Yes. What's his name? It's the Antonio das Mortes. Yeah,
Yes.
Death Anthony. He's a bounty hunter. And
Yes.
man, and again, he's like he puts Clint Eastwood to shame, man. I mean, I love me those spaghetti westerns. Those are some of my favorite movies of all time. So no shade to Clint Eastwood, but this guy is raw. And he's like stuck in this hell. Like he realizes, like, this is my destiny. And that's the thing that I loved about it too, is like everybody's stuck in this game that they can't get out of revenge, you know, and then they always have a blind man, right? The blind musician. So it's very
Oh yeah.
folkloric at the same time. Oh man, I know I'm definitely gonna watch this movie
Yeah,
again. Like
blind
this is
people were very
yeah,
related to like to see future or
exactly.
to see beyond what is there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, Glauber is amazing.
but
He's
then this guy, you think the movie's great up to then, and then this guy played by Othon Bastos, Corisco, shows up.
Corisco, yeah.
And you're like, what is this character? And just the way that he talks, and like, he's just got screen presence and a half, like his voice, and he's also he used to follow Lampion, and Lampion has
Yes.
just died, and he's on this revenge. Look at this.
Yeah, he's one of the guys from the same group of Lampion,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Listen to his voice. Look at this voice, man. Wait, but it's slow. Look. Maria Bonita was Lampion's wife, and he's talking
Yeah.
about how the captions are on the screen. Oh man. And then it's just
Yeah.
this. I mean, that's just his introduction. And then the stuff that he does, he's an evil bastard.
Yeah,
And it
Corisco is an amazing character. He was called the Blonde Devil.
oh my lord. No. And then, of course he runs into him and the stuff that he makes him do and just the fanaticism and just, there's a really crazy scene where they go into this I think it's a church, and he cuts off the guy's dick. And I'm heavy spoilers, guys. I told you, like he's like, you want
Oh
to
yeah.
show you what you're made of? Look at this. We'll show a little bit of that. Oh, look at his voice, man. And he named him Satan. He's like, all right, your name used to be Morrow. Now it's Satan. Listen, copyright be damned if you're not listening. Look at this. E corta. And he's like, "What else am I gonna do, right? Because probably
Yeah.
my balls are gonna get cut off
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
don't." Man, I can't say like seriously. It's been a while
Yes.
since I've seen a movie like this where I'm like, "What?" And
And it's amazing how
amazing.
you can when you see something like that and you can relate to nowadays what they do
Yes.
what the drug dealers do in the slums.
Hmm.
They still do that.
Yeah.
They
No, I
still
mean,
get the guys if depending on your crime. This will be your fate. People will
yeah.
cut your balls off.
Yeah, and I'm in a way I'm glad I watched it now that I know more about Brazilian culture and who all these people are. Even though I think it's a great entry into wanting to learn more about Brazilian culture, but if the
Yeah.
more you know about the culture, I think the more this movie's gonna make sense, and the criticisms that it's making of society at large. It's not just against the powerful or against the poor. It's like you're all stuck in this
Yes.
purgatory hell, whether you're rich, poor, powerful, no, not powerful. You're just stuck in this endless cycle, you know.
Yes.
And wow, 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 wow.
Yeah, and
Uh,
the forces operating in the narrative in the movie are the same
yes.
forces operating in the society that Glauber was living in.
Mm-hmm.
So the movie is it portraits like a different time, but you can relate as you can relate to now,
I put
2026.
I agree. I've made this little slide thing here, and I took this
Yeah.
screenshot as I was watching the movie because I love this quote: "A man is a man when he uses his gun to change his fate."
Oh yeah.
And he's talking about like here, it's not God, it's not, and it's like in this world, there's only one way to survive, and is you got to take, grab them by the balls in a way, and just make your own fate. But again, it gets to that
Yeah.
theme of destiny, like everything that just you're just stuck there. Um, I'm not gonna give away the ending, but it seems like somebody tries to make an escape of this destiny, but who knows? I mean, they may just end up in another purgatory. It's like this endless purgatory.
Yeah.
So highly recommend this movie. Okay, if I put it on, we did talk about Brazilian movies a couple weeks or maybe a month back, and we didn't mention this one because I hadn't watched it, but now it definitely would be in my. It's definitely second favorite Brazilian movie because Dona Flor is Dona Flor,
Yeah.
but probably one of my top 10 movies that I've seen. Just period.
Yeah.
Uh,
And if you like this one, I suggest
yeah,
you
that's what I was gonna say.
everyone.
Yeah, give us more, please.
I think from the same filmmaker, Glauber Rocha, I think everybody we have to watch Entranced Earth. Terra em Transe. Terra em Transe in Portuguese, Entranced Earth in English. It's like a political allegory exploring like populism and manipulation, authoritarianism,
Mm-hmm.
um, in a fictional place called El Dorado. So it's all
The
about
city of gold.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
cool.
yes,
It,
yes. And you're going to see the political tensions of
oh,
Brazil
nice.
during the military dictatorship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's one of the landmark of political cinema in Brazil.
Nice. And what's nice, you can find all of these on YouTube, guys.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
guys.
yeah, so very easy. Although, uh, I hear that Lula said that they're releasing now like the Brazilian Netflix. Actually, I forgot. I was gonna mention that in the news section. What is that about? Did I misread that? Uh,
Brazilian Netflix.
it's like he's gonna just create this library of Brazilian movies that you can watch online. Let me put here Netflix Brasileira Lula. Maybe I don't know, because sometimes I'm just going to work and
Yeah.
I see stuff. I don't have time to fact check it.
Oh, I think it's
Tela Brasil.
Tela
Tela
Brasil.
Brasil.
Yeah, yeah. CNN,
Yeah.
CNN. I'm just seeing now. I never heard about it, but it seems like it's yeah,
Mm,
Brazilian streaming, so you can watch more than 500 movies
yeah.
from our
Okay.
cinema. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Cool.
Okay. It seems amazing because I
All
think
right.
like some people think Brazil started the Brazilian the story with with the filmmaking started with Central do Brasil because we were nominated to the Oscars,
Oh.
but
Mm.
Hmm.
Brazil has way more than Central do Brasil um
No,
and
no, Brazilian cinema goes back to the 30s.
oh yeah, yes,
Mm.
yes, we have some
And
great
guys,
things.
and it's experimental. Yeah, what's nice about it is it's got its own flavor because it's very Brazilian. It's weird when you say that. It's very like, what is that? I mean, when you're here, you just realize what Brazilian is. It's got this charm to it, this earthiness to it. This just it's connected in a way. It's got the vibes, right? But at the same time, it can be extremely experimental. Like why I mentioned this movie a couple times tonight. That's why I love Dona Flor and Her Two Husbands, which is based on a novel, which is also very experimental. But it's this woman whose husband dies, and then she meets another guy, but then the ghost of the other husband follows her around. So it's this total wacky, like fantasy, but at the same time, it's so Brazilian. And there's these scenes of Sonia Braga just cooking a muqueca, and you can like smell it from the screen, and the music and the colors and the pastels. And yet at the same time, it's this wacky story about a three-way love romance with a ghost. It's like that's
That's the
Brazil to a
thing.
T.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, this is Jorge Amado, right? I think
George Amado,
top
who's been
top
getting a
three,
lot of love.
top
Yeah.
five, like authors from Brazil, and he when you described the movie being like colorful and having this magic, this Brazilian thing, it's what you have from his
Yes.
literature, like in general. Like Jorge Amado is
Exactly.
amazing.
Exactly. Here in São Paulo, they're doing a lot of stuff with him in the Linha Amarela. I meant to
Yeah.
take some pictures of it for my. Yeah, they have an expo, the stories of Jorge Amado. I
What
meant to film a little bit
one
of it.
thing I find very interesting. We mentioned a lot of commies today, a lot of
I
communists.
know, I
Yeah,
know,
because Josh
I
Amado
know.
was one of them. Tom Zé was one of them. Woo.
Viva la revolution!
Yes.
Yes, no,
I mean, if you're from
he's
Bahia, you have
getting
to
a
be
lot.
communist.
Look at this, guys. Another thing too that you got in Brazil that I love is black flicks. Okay, and it's
I mean,
again kind of
you
like
are
a
showing me
Netflix.
something today, huh? Wow, Black
I
Flicks.
know. Yeah, you gotta watch it, man. So
Uh-huh.
you can sign its all, classics, new movies, rarities, uh, and we got a whole bunch of stuff. How much is it? Look at that, 24 reais. Actually, I might get it because I had never gotten it before. So the
Nice.
you can go and watch some movies. I don't know if it's just like a streaming site, that you pay for or not, but I'm gonna test it out, guys, because I had meant to get into Blackflix a while ago. But I'm
Yeah,
really
you should.
interested
You
in
should, and you
this
should come
this
here to
Lula
talk
one.
about it.
Uh, so yes, commies for the win tonight. Commies for the win tonight. Look at that. You're doing some good work. You're doing some good work.
I hope Trump. I
I
hope
love it.
Trump is not
Anyway,
watching us.
listen, I know we're gonna get cut off the air, man.
Please.
Either the copyright will get this live cut down, or Trump will get this live cut down, one or the other. But in either case, we had a good time. Came view, who
Oh
heard
yeah,
it, who
K
did
View
it,
View.
who did it, yeah. Anyway, guys, it's coming up on the hour mark, and I just really want to thank Antonio for just giving his time, because I asked this as a big favor to just people that I really appreciate, to be able to be recurring guests on the show.
Thank you for
And
inviting me.
yes, so tell us
Always
where
a
people
pleasure.
can reach out and find you. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Professor
Yeah,
underscore Castro.
yeah, let me put this up. I forgot to do my show prep. Professor Castro, I got you though. Keep
Yes,
talking while
or
I'm getting you.
Instituto underscore Aracoara, our institute, our school, where we
Mm-hmm.
teach Portuguese and Brazilian culture. So you can reach us there. We can talk. You can come to Brazil. We can show you Rio de Janeiro. That's it. Reach us.
There you go. Let me just put
Thank you. That's it.
Aracoara. And there's Aracoara right there, guys. And they do a lot of wonderful work. I see a lot of their stuff up here. It's really cool. And again, when you come to Brazil, it's a big country. It's a complicated country. So, oh, hello. Oh, sorry. Look, life is. Hello, Phil, Pete, and Forever Scar. Sorry for being late. I watch. You will enjoy this show. Life is.
Thank
This
you
was a
for
special.
coming.
This is a special show. Yes, thank you guys. Oh, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show. So a couple things. First, I would just wanted to say with these folks that I bring on the show, like I do my best to vet them the best that I can. They're people that I've been usually talking to for a while before they come on the show, and they're folks that are really going to help you guys when you come down here, because Brazil, like I was saying, is a big country. It's a complex country,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of folks that say they know and then just kind of screw you over, just kind of give you like the basic, tour around, like something you can do by yourself. Just walk down Paulista. It's like, okay, but
Yes.
what are you going to see there? Add a little bit more to that. So yeah, reach out to these folks, and especially when it comes to learning the language. I was actually talking to Kay, or not talking, but I saw Kay, who Pete and I had on the show a while back. She was a Canadian teacher, so I want to get more teachers on and really focus on this idea of learning about the culture, learning the language. So
Yeah,
movies
Kay is
like
amazing.
this. She is. And movies like this will get you to learn Portuguese, and the accent, will be challenging for you. Music like Tropicalia can help you to learn Portuguese. Somebody on the last video, Pete, they left a comment about how, because we had the conversation with Bishop about music, and he's like, oh, the Brazilian music seems so cool. I should get my Portuguese up so I can listen. And I was like, no, dude. I left a comment
You
saying,
don't need to, man.
yeah, learn Portuguese with the music. Do it in reverse, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. Learn through music, learn through TV shows, start
Hmm.
writing, taking your notes, sing by yourself, have a nice
Yes,
time with the language, and maybe reach us, have a class, an online class. Portuguese is the future.
it is. It is. It's a beautiful language, and there's a lot of depth to the language that even when because I speak both. So as I'm reading those captions in English or the subtitles,
Yeah.
whatever, I mean, it tells the story, but it doesn't really tell the story. If you really understand what they're saying in Portuguese, that's tough to like translate in 3 seconds.
Yes.
But that's pretty much it, guys. And I do wanted to give a shout out and thank you. Well, shout out to Alessandra. It's her birthday. Happy birthday, Alessandra.
Happy birthday.
One of my favorite people. If you ever see videos of me at the karaoke bar, you've seen Alessandra, the redhead. She's amazing. And also, thank you everybody that's been listening. We reached 2,000 subscribers. I should have said that at the beginning
Woo.
of the show, But we're 2000, Pete. How do you feel? Do you feel 2000?
No, I think it's great. Now we just need to start, pumping up the volume.
We
Oh
will
yeah.
pump up that volume very soon. We're reaching 100. There will be changes. There will be good changes. But guys, this is my outro music, which means it's time to go to bed. And thank you guys for listening to the Brazil Expat Journal, the BJ you can trust. Next week, I hope Oneness Mantra is going to be on. I've been talking to her. She just put out a kid's book that looks really beautiful. It's got a lot of wonderful illustrations of Black children, which I think is so important for people to see, especially down here in Brazil. So we will talk about that, just living life in Brazil because she was here for a while and being back in the States and what's going on with her. So hopefully that'll be next week's show. If not, it'll be a surprise. It'll be a surprise to me and Pete too. Antonio, love you, man. Until next
Always
time.
a pleasure.
Love you guys. Thank you. See you